who just released two books, 50 to 20 and Sajaksel. So these two books are actually not the only books that you released this year. You released 4 books within 1 year, right? That's
correct,
pretty ambitious. Why did you do that? Did you ever feel, exhausted by writing 4 books for 1 year?
Well, not really. I mean, for 25 years, I had been a corporate person, right? I mean, I work, I built my career, and writing used to be just for my spare time. But then starting last year, I decided to switch into full-time writing. And then suddenly, time just frees up when I no longer have to go to work. I have more time to write, and it had always been my passion. And I need to earn a living.
But I mean, to be that productive, have you ever experienced like writer's block?
Not so much though, not so much. I mean, not as scary as some people make it to be. Yeah, of course there are days where you don't feel like it, but eventually I just kept going.
Right. So from those 4 books though, this is the 50 to 20, what are the other 2 that is not featured here?
So early last year, I published The Compass. The Compass is a bit philosophy that is used for self-improvement, for decision-making. It's basically a decision-making framework based on ancient Greek philosophy. So I know, sounds heavy, but actually it's very practical. And then mid last year, I published Belajar Marketing, Belajar Hidup. So it's really based on my 25 years of experience in marketing. But instead of writing a marketing book for business, I write a marketing book for individual. So because I found out that a lot of marketing principles can be applied to you, to us, individually, to help us succeed in life.
Right.
And then late last year, these twin books came out.
Okay, let's go back to the cover of these books, because before the break, Rory asked you about the illustrations and the cover of the book. We want to know the story behind it. Like, can you tell us more about the illustration?
Yeah, so the moment I got the idea that I will publish 2 books, immediately the thought came that the cover has to be special. So even though these 2 books are individual titles on its own right, but at the same time they are born together, and actually there are some common threads. So there are some themes that appear in both, even though the expression is different. So I said to my publisher, hey, let's make the cover connect. So make it seamless. So I got that idea, and I immediately know that I want to have a Japanese influence illustration.
I see. Why is that?
I don't know. I cannot explain. It just feels like it. I don't know. For these 2 books, I want to have a Japanese manga style illustration. So the publisher worked hard to find illustrator that can do this style, and we found this amazing young talented illustrator, Nico, or Nico Jutsu on Instagram. He had already exhibition internationally. So he was the one who did this.
So that means that it wouldn't be complete if you just buy one, you have to buy the pair.
And who are those 2 people?
Thank you. Yeah, so these 2 people actually resemble one person. One is already in his 50s, one is still in his 20s. So the brief to the brief to the illustrator is, can you make it that they are actually the same person but from different times. So it's supposed to be me, already gray hair, and it's my younger son, and they are having conversation.
I immediately think of Nobita, because you remember the Doraemon movie, like the old Nobita takes care of the
What I remember about is only dorayaki. Anyway, so Sajaksel, what is that all about?
So it's my first collection of poems. So never wrote poetry book before. So suddenly the idea came, maybe interesting to write a collection of poems, but with very specific theme. So this is, it says, collection of poems, urban poems, corporate, and startup, because those 3 worlds are very close to me, right? Urban, and then corporate, and then startup scenery. And the title Sajaksel, obviously a wordplay of Sajak and Jaksel. So it's like the poems of South Jakarta. And I mean, if you live in Jakarta, you know that South Jakarta has some peculiar reputation, right? That become a...
Or the highest tier.
you can put it that way, but a lot of stand-up comedians make fun of
Yeah.
the behavior of South Jakartans, right?
Oh, okay.
For some reason, the other parts of Jakarta are spared. I mean, you don't hear much about the West Jakarta jokes or the North Jakarta, but South Jakarta is very specific. And to me, it symbolizes, this region symbolizes ambition, right?
Right.
I mean, South Jakarta is where the big business, have big office. It symbolizes career, money. This is where FOMO happens,
Yes.
South Jakarta, right? So a lot of interesting things to observe about human behavior, which I expressed in these poems.
Are you anak Jaksel yourself?
Good question to ask. Currently, I am a Jaksel resident, even
Okay.
though my ID still is Jakarta, anak Pulau Gadung.
Okay, so you grew up in Pulau Gadung, no?
Yeah,
And
it's
then
Jakarta.
you eventually moved to South Jakarta.
Eventually, I moved here.
So this
I see.
is your first book on poem, right?
My first, yeah.
What inspired you to write this?
Ah,
Is it
interesting.
because you now undergo study of philosophy, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, I'm currently studying philosophy, taking a course in
Okay.
philosophy. But it's not that. So the background story was last year I attended Singaraja Literary Festival. Okay, so it's a literary festival in Singaraja, North Bali.
Yeah.
And then during the closing ceremony, there is poetry reading,
Okay.
yeah, by An Mansur. Okay, so when I was there, I was very surprised to hear that I never knew that you can do poems with ordinary language. It doesn't have to be very artistic, difficult word. So I thought, oh, I never knew you can write poetry like this. So it kind of inspired me that maybe I can give it a try.
Yeah.
Because I know I don't have that artistic language that much, but I can express some thoughts in a witty way, and I thought that would be my style of poems.
Right. Earlier you mentioned that you spent quite a lot of years being a corporate slave, right? I mean, you work in that industry for a long time.
Yep.
I'm really curious as to how you shift your career from being a corporate guy to a part-time writer and then to a full-time writer. Has writing always been your passion since you were young, or what's the story?
That's right. So I had always loved writing. Even when I was in elementary school, I remember I enjoy assignment mengarang. If the teacher give me an essay to write a story, I would love that. But I think the moment where I got serious when blogging came into view in around 2004, 2005, Blogspot, Multiply, I kind of find the platform for me. Oh, I actually enjoy writing this. And then social media happened, kind of bring my blogs to a bigger audience, and that's how I rediscover, all right, I love doing this. But at that time, I cannot see it as a source of livelihood yet. When being a writer in Indonesia is pretty challenging, that's why I kept my full-time job.
Right.
But I guess as my books gain traction, it started to become a feasible source of income, and that's when last year I decided, you know what, maybe this is time to give it full time.
Yeah, I think we need to normalize and also mainstream career shifting or career changing because our purpose, our focus has changed over the time, right? So talking back to about the philosophy class that you are undertaking right now, right? So how actually philosophy shapes the messages that you put into your books? Does it play a role?
And the reason I did the course in philosophy is actually to enrich me as a writer, to see a different point of view on looking at everyday life struggles and challenges. And people say that philosophy is boring. I would disagree. I think if you put your mind to it, actually it's very, very fascinating because there is nothing new under the sun. And what I meant with that, whatever life struggle that we feel now, actually for 2,000 years, great thinkers have encountered the same problem. Yes, they didn't have the same technology as we do now, but at the core, life pains, life pleasures, life joys actually remain pretty much the same. And it's amazing the insight that they can offer to guide us through our life today.
Right. So what's special and the beauty of it is that you combine the philosophy and the real life experiences, especially if you, after you hit 50 mark, right? And you combine that beautifully into these two books.
Okay, last one for me. What are the key takeaways that you want the readers to, to get from reading this book, the Sajaksel one? Because this one is pretty clear, right? 50 to 20, you want the readers to somehow, perhaps they could relate to your life experiences. But what about this one?
Well, because it revolves around the world of corporate, urban life, and startup. What I'm trying to say is, try to live not to live up to other people's expectation. Okay, you know what I mean? Like, Labubu or whatever trend that.
Being
oh
FOMO.
my God, FOMO! I have to own this particular tumbler because everybody else is doing it, or because I have to collect this. You know what? In the end, it doesn't really matter. You really need to find your own inner joy and happiness that is not set by other
people's
people.
standard, yeah.
And it's okay to be ambitious. I get it. I mean, young people working hard, trying to prove themselves in the world. But life is not only about work. Don't forget to stop and smell the roses. Is that what the famous saying was? Don't die at work, man. It's not worth it.
Right.
All right.
So yeah, that's the message.
Everyone, take note from someone who have successfully escaped from the hustle culture.
Exactly, especially if you are in your 20s.
Yes.
These books are for you because this is the lessons from a father or
Or a friend. You can call a friend too.
Or friends too.
Yep. And before we wrap up this segment, it has been a tradition in this show that we invite our guests to play a little game. And today we are going to play Name the title of the novels that are adapted into a movie and or series. So here it is, our See the Game segment. Semangat ya. Okay, before we start the game, I will tell you about the rules. So Henry and Rory will have to find the missing letters for each title of the novel. So it's not that difficult.
Hopefully.
And I will read the clues, and if you know the answer, just ring the bell. Test the bell first. Rory. Okay, now let's see the first novel behind me.
Okay.
Okay. This is easy. So I'll read the clue. Okay, you don't need the clue. Okay,
That's
Henry.
Gadis kretek.
Oh, yes.
Let's see the answer. Gadis kretek. Is it?
Is it the answer?
Oh, the time is
We
still
have to
running.
wait.
We have to-
wait,
So
okay.
it is actually a fictional.
This is actually not official.
Yes.
Yay!
It's a fictional novel penned by Ratih Kumala back in 2012, and it is adapted into 5-episode series of Netflix in 2023. Have you both seen the series?
Yeah, I have.
Yes, I have. And I
Great.
think this is one of the best series on
Great show.
Netflix.
Totally agree. Okay, are we ready for the second one?
Okay, I'll try.
Okay, don't answer yet, okay? Let's see the second one. Do not answer. I will read the clue. A satirical 2013 romantic comedy novel by Kevin Kwan. This is the film adaptation.
Of course I know.
Okay, what is it?
Crazy Rich Asians.
Ah, yeah.
I think so. Is it right?
Yay!
This movie is really entertaining. But I haven't read the book, have you?
I haven't, but I'm looking forward for the second episode. That will be
Are you the type of person who likes to read first and then watch the movie, or the other way around?
I think I have no particular option. If the movie is good, then I will just follow the movie
I see.
without having the obligation to read the book.
Yeah, so for me, I prefer to read the book first because then my imagination can go wild.
Yeah.
Whereas when you watch the movie first, it's like limited, you
I'm
know?
afraid that my expectation will fall short, right? If I read the book, then I watch the movies, like Harry Potter.
Ah, exactly. You're right. All right, let's move on to the third one.
Oh,
Okay, wait. Oh, this is so easy. Okay, clue. It was the second film in
I know.
Okay, Rory, come on.
The Lord of the Rings.
And
The Two Towers.
Yeah,
is it right?
right.
Will Rory get 2 points?
Hey!
You're good.
I was actually trying. I was a bit optimistic because I'm dealing with a writer, right?
Yes.
Oh, are
All
we
right,
done?
we're done and we have a winner, you guys.
Hey,
Rory
Rory.
Sorry,
Ashari
Mas
is our
Henry, I'm
winner.
sorry.
You're good, man. Congratulations.
I thought it was 5.
Okay, as a present, maybe you get to read his book.
I will definitely. I've
Yes.
read the second chapter, the first 2 chapters, and I will continue after my broadcast. So thank you very much for the book.
And thank you so much for sharing your life lesson and your insights about your book. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, author Henry Manampiring. So Share the Stories will continue after the break, guys, to give you another book recommendation. So please stay with us. Thank you, Mas.